everyone, it is Tasty Taste from Blood of Kittens, and I'm back with a actual long-form video. If you may have noticed, I have for the last month not done anything really like this, not even a battle report. That's because I've been dedicated to something called YouTube Shorts, which is TikTok for YouTube. And while I was always skeptical of TikTok because it just looked lame and way too Gen Z or whatever we're on, Gen whatever, 000.5, I don't know what it is right now. But it just looks so dumb and lame, and it was just basically a vehicle for people to post music videos. But with YouTube now entering the TikTok game, I felt, let's give this a try. And so for the last month, I've been doing tons of TikToks that range from 15 seconds to 60 seconds with the help of my cousin from Kentucky doing half of them. So please, if you can, go check those out because I think they're actually pretty cool. And if you like that as well, please like and subscribe this video, to the channel, to all that stuff. The normal YouTube spiel things I just said. But anyway, enough talking about YouTube Shorts. Let's talk about White Dwarf. And White Dwarf has been around for over 40 years and has gone through ebbs and flows, ups and downs. And thanks to, of course, modern technology and the digital release of magazines and newspapers, the question has always been, why do we even have White Dwarf? Well, first off, let's just say for at least the last 20 years, White Dwarf has been the primary vehicle for Games Workshop to train their next generation of designers and other, whatever they go on to be different employees in Games Workshop. So it's kind of your entry-level job, especially if you're into design, writing, Black Library. You just get into White Dwarf, build up your your Games Workshop skills, build up, what it is about the White Dwarf, about the Games Workshop culture, and you go from there and you just go for bigger and greater things. So that's been the primary thing, I think, since really the digital age has taken off. That's why White Dwarf exists and why it continues to exist. But I want to say lately, White Dwarf has been pretty awesome. Take, for instance, this edition, which came out, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. It has these little guys on here, which released some special rules for them. Emperor's Spears, I believe they're called. As well, every White Dwarf is either filled with something like that for Sigmar or for 40K, filled with awesome campaign rules. So if you are a narrative player, every month you either have something for 40K and something for Sigmar called Flashpoints, which build on Crusade rules, or what Sigmar does for Crusade rules, which I don't know because I don't really play Sigmar. As well, there's also a ton of information for every single sub-faction game for Games Workshop. So it's really, of course, a marketing tool vehicle. But what is really gone, which I'm really impressed, is that they've gotten rid of a lot of the shilling. And what I mean by that is that White Dwarf used to be the vehicle for new releases. So you get a White Dwarf and be like, okay, half of this is going to be a battle report and telling me all the models that are coming out that I already got leaked online and saw anyway. So they've gotten rid of that, not because I don't think they wanted to not get rid of that, but because they're forced to get rid of it because of supply chain issues and how they now release things using the Warhammer community page, which is just a much better vehicle for getting the word out for new releases. So now Games Workshop can focus on which always have been, and that is a content generating machine. So at $9, you are getting a product now that is jam-packed with content, mini games, campaigns, sometimes, a lot of times actually, like discount video game cards, random promotions, random models, random collectible card games, just a ton of content for $9. And in the grand scheme of Games Workshop, $9 is really a good deal. Now, while I'm sounding so shilly for White Dwarf, I have to say part of it's kind of nostalgic because back in the 90s and all that good stuff, when I was really getting into the game, White Dwarf was really awesome. Like I said, it had all the same kind of content where you had like every month that chapter approved. You're like, oh my God, I'm getting new rules for crazy things I never knew even existed, or expanding on fluff. So now White Dwarf is kind of back to that. And without all the new release shilling, which they, I should say it's somewhat in there a little bit because they kind of give you a general shilling because they're like, hey, we need to tell you what we think came out this month, so they do that. But it's, like I said, jam-packed with all this extra stuff. And then also pulling from the community. There's a lot of community information in there, like bringing in people's own models on their showcases, that sort of thing. Not just having, once again, the studio army being shown off, which is oftentimes not that good a quality, and also doesn't really say much about what the community is doing. So, like I said, once again, it is awesome. And just to give you a little quick history thing, it's also a freaking huge book now. This one versus this old one, this is 2012, and this is 2020. Look at that. That size is awesome. So you're getting a bigger magazine as well. And, it's just a good buy. And let's not forget all the terrible times White Dwarf has had, like White Dwarf Weekly. You remember that? Hopefully the new players don't remember that. That was like the worst thing ever. Every week a little White Dwarf, and that was just literally like a 10-page magazine of just complete and utter shilling for the products. And I just remember seeing stacks, going to your local game store, just stacks of these unbought White Dwarf Weeklies. And they finally got rid of that, whatever, like 4 or 5 years ago. And then also remember this guy, Visions. I remember when this came out, people freaked out because it was just a coffee table picture book. And it was actually, the old version of this was half the size of this. So it was like full color, but useless full color because it was so small, and they made this last ditch larger version of it to try to save it. Of course, they didn't save it. That was when they had 2 magazines. They had the weekly and that. I'm surprised it survived, but it did. And now we have a great magazine that's releasing, like I said, tons of content. So please go take a look at it. You know, like I said, digital is taking over, and this is kind of an archaic version of that with the magazine. But hey, I kind of want to support it on that nostalgia level, on the fact that they're doing content. So I've gotten a subscription, and also, just to shill some more for them, if you get a subscription, you get specialized covers that are these crazy little art covers that are all unique. And so if you're a subscriber, you get special treatment in that case. But you also have to wait a couple days after it's general release because it has to get in the mail and get to you. But anyway, so go check out White Dwarf. Like, just, you don't have to buy it. Just go into your local store, flip through the magazine and say, hey, whoa, there's actually some good content in here. So if you like that content, go check it out. If you like my content, once again, like and subscribe. Otherwise, guys, I will see you on the flip side, maybe next week. But if I don't see you next week, it's going to be just check out all my YouTube shorts because there's going to be millions of those in between now and then. Bye.